Hello there, friends, and welcome to Strangers in the Night, your source for late night VR gaming talk. I, of course, am your host, Wes, and with me, as always, are my good friends. Eric, welcome home, brother.
Thanks, man. What's going on, fellas?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where the mystery voices in my head are coming from. Roots, was that my mom or what?
I don't know.
It shocked me. I thought it was I was like, what is that voice? Because my thing was starting, so I was waiting for the buzz to click to mute it, right? And then all of a sudden that started, and I thought, what the fuck is this? It was very weird.
It was me.
Very bizarre.
It was my PC, and it was a commercial at the beginning of Virtual Strangers on YouTube.
Oh,
Kachava.
Oh,
Yeah, those assholes. It's all about making the money for them, right?
Yeah,
greedy.
we're such fucking chills, man. We got to have commercials right before we go on. I mean, we go on 15 minutes late, and then we got to have a fucking commercial right in the beginning.
That's crap,
I
right?
hate us sometimes.
So, how's it feel to be back, man? Back in New York, right?
Feels good, yeah, man. I got home like yesterday mid-afternoon and proceeded to like try and keep myself awake until as late as I could before I went to bed, man. And I was telling Ruth, I crashed at like 7:30. My wife was like, "You just fell over and went to sleep." I didn't wake up till like 5 o'clock in the morning. So,
You been falling asleep in your headset today?
oh man, it's been tough keeping it on all day long, but it's been some good games keep me in there a little bit.
Yeah, Roots. I mean, this is the second week in a row we're doing all new releases, but man, this week seems like even better than last, right?
Yeah, banger games for sure. And just FYI, I'm seeing some colors I don't like on my thing. So it's like a rainbow going on between the yellow, red, or green, just bouncing all over the place. Hopefully it stabilizes. I don't see that it's acting weird, but the stream might get a little weird for a second there. But yeah, banger games, and like Eric said, I mean all of these games, man, they're good.
I don't see colors, you bigot.
I know. That's the thing. I was trying not to, and how crazy is
I'm
that?
thumbing down
right?
this stream now. I'm thumbing it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna thumb it down too.
Anyway, no, man, the lineup's super strong this week. Much like last week, we were kind of in flux, shuffling around games every day, deciding what we were going to play. And we originally were going to just keep it all Quest so that maybe Eric could, get some of it done on the road. But then this mod drops on the Luke Ross Patreon yesterday, or was it the day before? And by the way, shout out to the Handy Capable Gamer for tipping me off on that before any of the media or any of the VR content creators picked it up. Handy Capable Gamer tagged me on Discord and let me know that Ghost Runner Tokyo was now available to be played in VR, which is awesome, man, because we've talked about this game on our show many times as a game that needs to be a VR game. And so at the last minute, or I guess the last day, we decided to switch it up one more time and add some PC stuff in. So, a little something for everybody tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, Ben L of the GameCat Army says, I've played Ghostwire since it came out. I've said it from the very first moment I started, it needed to be in VR, or that it meant to be played in VR, and it needs to be in VR. And he was right.
Yeah, we said it back in the early days of the promotion leading up to the launch. This is one of those games that we predicted could be a PSVR 2 game because, Sony was heavily promoting it. And if you look at the footage, I mean, it looks like a VR game. So I guess it's pretty cool now that it actually is, right?
Yeah, how crazy would it be if Luke Ross gets a cease and desist from Sony? You know what I mean? Because that shit's coming down quick. Bam! Better download it now, everybody, because it may be getting pulled tomorrow, which probably not going to get pulled tomorrow, but it could. You never know.
So, Eric, do you think Luke Ross has redeemed himself yet? I mean, he's given us Final Fantasy, now Ghost Runner. I mean, he's making up ground pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's not going to redeem himself unless he like doesn't roll over next time somebody says, hey, take something down. But I don't know. I mean, Roots is still a patron. I mean, it continues to put stuff out there. So at least he hasn't backed off completely. He's still putting stuff out there. So if it's just going to be Red Dead and GTA 5, yeah, I mean I'll pay him. I'll pay him the $10 for what he's got going on.
Yeah, he catches a lot of shit for going behind a paywall like that. But if he's gonna produce like this at this rate, I think he deserves the $10 per month. I mean, I think that's actually a pretty fair price.
What do you think
Yeah, I
about
don't think-
Spider-Man?
Yeah, well,
Because he did say that when he talked about Ghostwire, he said he was teasing for it the day before, and he said it wasn't. When he came out, I said it wasn't Spider-Man yet, was his words. So,
interesting. I don't
Yeah,
think we never said that he doesn't deserve his money, right? I mean, we never said that. I think he definitely deserves paying him. I never had a problem with paying him. I had a problem with the way he handled it when he, when Rockstar told him to take his stuff down, and I think everybody kind of had a little problem with that. So, but I think he deserves $10 a month. I mean, if he continues to put these things out there, I think he does. It's worth it.
Agreed, and you're right. We never did say that he shouldn't be charging people. We said that if he's going to charge people, that maybe he should stick up for his user base a little bit more. Maybe he shouldn't act like people are thieves if they decide to share something that he's not selling anymore.
that was
And
the
don't
biggest
brag
thing.
about it, so then people find out, and get all companies find out and get all pissed off.
Well, that was the biggest thing too. Is like I can't give you this product anymore. They're not, but I don't want you to give it away because that'd be stealing. Even though I can't do anything with it, it's just sitting here. That to me was weird. I would have been like Wes said back then, like fucking, I can't stop you guys from sharing it, and kind of pushing people to share it, right?
Yeah. And for those of you who are out there who do want to, maybe you're new to PC and you want to try out the GTA 5 mod or the Red Dead 2 mod, there is a way to do it now. Elliot Tate of the Flat to VR modding community on Discord has last week or the week before released a new tool that allows you to go subscribe to the Luke Ross Patreon, take the newest version, whatever that may be, of the Real VR mod, and you plug it into this program, and that program patches in those two games. So it's kind of an end around. So Luke's not hosting that stuff on the Patreon page anymore. This is the type of thing we said he should have do to begin with, right? This is exactly the type of solution we said that should have been there all along. And so kudos to Elliot Tate, and I guess probably Luke Ross, even though we don't know that he actually had anything to do with it. I would imagine he probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, and big shout out to Paradise DK listening in chat. He had some eye surgery. Had to lay face down for 10 days straight.
Horrible.
Because he had eye surgery, and still here listening, guys. That guy's he's a trooper.
Yeah. Praying for you, brother. For sure.
Seriously.
We got you in our hearts.
Paradise Decay was the first person I thought of when this Ghost Runner mod
Oh,
dropped.
he would have had a video for sure, right?
Well, he did
Yeah.
one. He did one a while back
Vorpax.
for 3D and I think it was Vorpax or one of those.
That was Vorpax, yeah.
So yeah, man, sorry you have to go through this, PD, but just think of it this way: even though you're kind of being forced into taking a break here, your brain's going to get a reset a little bit, man. The 3D is going to pop all that much more
Seriously.
when you finally get back in there.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
He's gonna be wowed all over again.
Anyway, we got lots to talk about tonight, and obviously getting a little bit late of a start, so we probably should go ahead and kick things off and say hello to our friends in chat. Technological Glitch says, "Here I am."
Radio
Oh, that's not Radio Run.
Techno
There-
Glitch.
That's Techno Glitch.
Oh, there it is.
He says, "Get well, PD," and here. And PD said he did Ghostwire in
A reshade. Okay.
I thought it said Vorpax on his video. That's weird.
Yeah, he might have one for that as well. Guido's here. What's up, friend? Mepper is here. Hello. Brandon Cease, shout out from Austin. What's up, Austin? Salvador. Hey, if Sony's not having a showcase today, maybe Luke Ross should. Well, that's what this show is. It's a showcase of, it's a VR showcase, right? Every week.
Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Tatum's in the chat. Good to see you, friend. Mickey Barrios, hello. Peter, the underground game cat on Perot. Hello, Peter. Space Dennison, as always, good to see you. Radio Runt, yo, there's Radio Runt Roots.
Radio Run, Idaho. I just love the Idaho part. It's my favorite.
I know. It's good.
And Ben L of the Game Cat Army. I've played Ghostwire. Oh, you already said this one, Roots. I've played Ghostwire since it came out. I've said from the first moment I started it that it was meant to be played in VR. It needs to be in VR, and indeed it is in VR. And Mr. Lord Beavis. What's up, Lord? Good to see you, friend. Anyway, Chinatown D sliding in here, as is Diz the Game Cat. Good to see you all at this late hour. Thank you for hanging out with us. Anyway, I guess we need to get into it, and this is one of those rare instances, Roots, that I didn't ask you before the show what order we're going in, so I don't know what we're talking about first.
I guess we'll just go with Into the Radius first, 'cause that's what I have up there first.
There you go.
Yeah, let's talk about Into the Radius, because this is a game that's been around for some time. It's been on PC for a few years now. Had a very lengthy early access period. The early builds of the game, not the best. Wasn't impressed early on. And even when we were told to go back in and try it out again, it was better, but I still wasn't all that impressed with it. But over time, update by update by update, Into the Radius got better and better and better until it finally ended up becoming one of the better games in the PC catalog. Still one of those games, people ask, what's PC have to offer that PlayStation doesn't have to offer? Well, Into the Radius is one of those. It's a must-play game, especially if you like stealth, if you like open-world first-person shooters. This is a great game. But with that said, Roots, typically when you get these kind of PC-centric games that were developed and made specifically to run on a powerful gaming PC, you don't often see these games come over to Oculus Quest. Instead, what you'll see is a developer do another version for Quest that's a bit watered down, a bit smaller in scope. But I'm happy to report that's not really the case here. Super impressed from the moment I stepped into this Quest version.
Yeah, I was not expecting much, and to be honest, I was expecting a lot because it's the developer and how much they've done, right, with the PC version. But this Quest version, what can they do? So clearly there's not going to be physics, and it's not going to look as good. And then I got in there, and there was physics, and I was blown away by how it looked. And not only was I blown away by how it looked, but I actually was blown away with the fact that I was actually having fun. And I threw the knife, Wes. I threw the knife with ease. I was like, fuck, man, now I know what Cyan was talking about. I was flinging that shit. It was cool. It was to me, I had probably 100% better experience on this version than I've had on the PC version. Now, I didn't go back and play through as much as you have recently, so I'm sure I would have had just as good experience on the PC version as of now.
Yeah, it's become a really good game. And if you were wondering if the Quest version would follow the same path as the PC version, where the launch version maybe not all that great, and it just gets better over time, not the case here. They're hitting the ground running this time, which I feel like, Eric, is kind of important. If you're going to launch on Quest, they're in the big leagues now. A lot of potential customers on that store. You don't want to stumble with your launch, right?
Yeah, they couldn't afford to. They did it the first time with Steam, and they were like a mixed or low rating, I think, when they first came out, and they really worked on it, and they did help themselves. They got their rating back up, with 2.0, and adding, making a bigger map, and then adding the what did they add for graphics, like the DLSS graphic upgrades. So they worked on it for a long time, and it is really a lot better now than it was before, but I still think this version's better. There's something about this version that's, I don't know if it's more approachable or what it is, and damn, it looks so good that I don't miss the 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 big upgrade in graphics to the PC, because for me, the PC version was still too daunting, and that was me going in a few months ago. For some reason, I just didn't feel like I could just jump in and out of there. It felt like I had to like invest serious amounts of time, and it doesn't feel that way for me. I don't know what it is, if it's just being in a standalone headset or whatever, but I just feel like it's easy to jump in and jump out. I don't know, I don't know. Does it seem like the same way to you guys? Just even getting through the tutorial. Now they have upgraded the tutorial in the PC version too. It's not the 2 hour freaking yawn fest it was in the first part. On the first when they first launched the game, but it's still so much better now in the Quest version than it was in the PC version.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't seem all that different than the last time I went into the Radius. I was super impressed with the last time I tried it on PC, and this is very, very similar. Although I will say, there are some parts of the map that seem a little different to me. The second tutorial seems a little different than I remember it, and you have like an early tutorial, then you do a mission, and then you come back and do like a second tutorial. That second tutorial seems a bit different now than it was before. So it's not
shooting range or
one for
something,
one
right?
the same. It is different, but I don't think you can go wrong either way on this one. I think it's good on PC and it's good on Quest. And I mean, graphically, sure, you're going to get a little more detail on the PC, but Roots, it's not a lot more detail, right? I mean, this thing looks like a PC game on the Quest.
Absolutely. And even just the detail of the gun and just all the different things there, I thought it looked really good. It looked, I couldn't tell a difference, but I mean, it's been a while since I've been in. And now I do have a little bit of a confession. I picked the story mode, the easy mode. 'Cause you know what? I just I want to go in and experience this. I had a really good time. I got through that first mission. You wouldn't believe how easy it was. But it was cool, man. It was I'm like Mash said, it feels like it was more approachable, and it seemed like it. I don't know if it's different or not, but I thought it felt the same way. Like I pulled out the map and I actually fucking understood what I was looking at, and I used it, and it was really cool. I thought that map thing was super cool. I like that it's got that light on there that I guess you can use at nighttime. I just thought I think I would actually go back and play in this. Probably will go back and play it again. And I wouldn't have said that before I tried it on this version.
That's the curse, right, of being a YouTube content creator. The blessing is you get to play all the great games. The curse is you don't actually get to play any of them.
Yeah, because you're moving on to the next one, right? You rarely have that time.
I think we need to move to a bi-monthly structure. We'll do a episode every other month.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Did you I was put off about one thing, and I don't know if it was just me, but I picked up that guitar and it told me to I could play it with a pick, and I couldn't find the fucking pick anywhere, man. I want my pick. I wanted to strum that shit in the game. I am assuming you can, or else why was that guitar there, right? But maybe I have to buy it or something, or find it somewhere.
I'm sure it's in a desk drawer or something. That's typically how it goes.
I looked in all the drawers. I didn't see it in there.
I don't know. Maybe the honky tonk man took it. Who knows?
It's possible.
It's the apocalypse, dude. You can't have everything.
Yeah, that's true. I did find a gold coin, and you can't strum the guitar with the gold coin. Just FYI, I did try that too. So,
Eric, you're kind of the resident Quest expert, being the founder and leader of the Q2C community. Uncommon depth here for a Quest game, right? Like, you don't see a whole lot of games in that library that provides this kind of depth to the gameplay. I mean, there's a lot going on here, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is no cookie cutter, quick, run through game that's mindless. This is a thought-provoking, full story, survival horror kind of. I don't know. There's just so much here. I mean, there's so many different models of game here. It's a shooter, it's an adventure, it's a puzzle, it's it's a survival, it's an exploration, and there's just a lot here. Just in story alone, and finding the little cassettes and the little the journal entries and things like that, where you can track the story. And there's just so much here. This is This is a full game. I mean, I'm not even sure the exact length of this game, but I would say it's got to be, if it's anywhere like the PC game, it's going to be 20 some hours.
Yeah, this is a full legit game. That I mean, this game. I feel like if there was a flat version of this game, it would do fine. Like people would still play this game if it weren't a VR game because it does have that depth. It does have a lot of content. I've played. I've probably played 15 hours in the PC version of this game, and I'm still in the first map. Like there's other maps that other areas that you can move off to before you finish this thing. Scion would have to tell us exactly how long it takes, but it's no small task getting through this one. It's a full blown, survival adventure game.
That's a good question. Do you think he would hate this game?
No, I think he'd love it. I think he would probably enjoy the hell out of it. How cool are those bullets? Remember when the original things that you threw for the thing? How it feels so satisfying to throw those things around, right? You kind of need to be throwing it all the time. So I just thought it was cool. I guess they're bullets or whatever. What are they?
They're bolts.
Bolts.
Yeah.
Cerebral Frost, the Boop Cat, joining us to say hello. Man, I saw you on the video the other day, the top 50 video, your little clip you submitted, and when I saw that To The Top shirt you were wearing, I just started drooling all over myself, and I said, you know what? I'm going to hit him up to try to get one of those, but I don't have to. I found the shirt on Redbubble today, so I'm going to order that thing up. Yeah.
Nice.
It's just a black shirt with a big white To The Top logo on it, and you know me, I like simple stuff, but I'm always trying to add to my VR shirt collection, and there's actually quite a lot of stuff on Redbubble. Different games, but man, awesome shirt, and you'll see me sporting it soon.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, no, man, this is a very interesting and unique game. Whether you're talking about in the PC catalog or the Quest catalog, what do you think, Bruce? Is this the best stealth game we've ever played? Just that one aspect of it, the stealth alone, which you may not have had to do in the story mode. But I would consider this to be a stealth game, and I can't think of another that's quite on this level.
No, it's definitely. I did not have to this particular playthrough because I just stabbed everything in the face, and they just fell over and said, "Let me tell you a story." But when those enemies are so crazy that you don't want them to. I've never not wanted to be seen by an enemy before so much. And here's the deal: like a lot of times, in these games, you're pigeonholed. Like if they see you, you're done. Like there's a lot of options. You can run. You can get. I mean, you probably won't make it. You could fight them, but it's so much easier to stealth, right? So like, I just like that aspect of it. You're like, you don't have to stealth, but you really should, and you're going to want to. So.
And the cool thing is there's a variety of different enemies in this game. And they all kind of have their way that you can deal with them. If you have to fight them, they all kind of have a weakness or like a process you can go through that kind of makes them easy to deal with. But it isn't obvious. It isn't anything you're going to just walk up and see. It's going to take dying a few times. And Eric, that's kind of one of the things that we say modern games really don't have that the old school games used to have is trial and error. There's a lot you could learn. I would say that a lot of your success in this game depends on trial and error.
Yeah, because I mean, it is a good tutorial to let you know what you need to do to get through the game in the beginning. But then it doesn't really hold your hand after that, which is kind of a mark of a good game. You don't want it to like I don't want a game to like baby hand hold me and walk me through every little tiny thing. So I want to be able to find some stuff out on my own. And if that means you're going to die, that means you're going to die. That's why we like roguelites so much. So, this is a survival, adventure, stealth horror game. And, these things are going to happen. This is not a shooter. This is not because you're quickly going to die or you're quickly going to run out of ammo or your weapon's going to jam. So this is not, you're going to go in guns and blazes in this game. So you need to stealth it when you can. I mean, if you have to shoot, you can. And the shooting's satisfying, but that's not what kind of game it's meant to be. And I'm glad it's not easy. I want it to be approachable now. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like the first iteration on PC before they fixed it, but I thought it wasn't approachable at all. But I think this is a really, really good medium. I mean, I'm super happy where this game is right now.
But the early versions of the game were janky. That's what made it so tough. Yeah, like throwing the knife, dealing with the gun. I mean, the first couple times I played this game, I got stuck and couldn't get out of the tutorial just because of all the jank around interacting with the gun.
Everything wanted to magnet to your hand before, remember, too? Like, you couldn't... I had a problem when I first went in there about dropping something. Like, I got something in my hand and grabbed it, and then I couldn't drop it. Like, I had to restart the whole game. So it had a lot of jank in it when it first dropped.
Yeah. And Roots is kind of weird to say that now, because I feel like the gun mechanics and the gun handling in this game is some of the best that we've seen in VR. Like, the guns feel like they have a little bit of weight. They, although I didn't, using that little pistol, I didn't feel much recoil. It makes me wonder, is it just gone, or is it just because it's a small gun?
Yeah, I didn't feel too much. I don't know. I think maybe I felt a little bit of recoil. I'm not sure, but yeah, it definitely is very satisfying. I agree with what you were saying, Eric. It's you're gonna shoot some stuff, but there's so much going on. Maybe you didn't brush your gun and clean it off in the jams, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's just a lot more of the depth to it. Like Wes was saying, there's so much depth to this, the gameplay wise, and the story as well. I'm just kind of finding a little bit, but I want to know what's going on because it sounds like somebody's being held prisoner somewhere. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that sets this game apart for me. I mean, you can have nice mechanics and you can have a nice deep gameplay loop. You can have even a nice large open world map, but if you don't have the story to tie it all together and the world, I mean, this is not only is this like a proper military stealth shooter, but I think what really draws me into it is this kind of dark sci-fi story and aesthetic that's going on here. I mean, Eric, there's a level of weirdness going on in this world that's pretty unparalleled in most of the games you see out there.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, too, right? I mean, if you've never played this game before, or if you've never tried it on PC, I mean, it's super weird. I mean, there's like gravity shifts and things going on. Things are floating in the air. You have all these dark figures, and you walk up to them and touch them, and they blow apart, and then all of a sudden you hear a memory from them, or it's just super strange. And then you walk into a town, and you'll see a stack of chairs 50 high. You know what I mean, like suspended in air. There's just super weird stuff going on here, and I have actually never made it through this story. Like I don't know how far you went, Wes, but like I know Scion's been through this whole story a couple different times. I'm really looking forward to getting through this now. So I hope they did port the entire story over from the PC to this version, because I do feel now like I can go in and I can finish this game.
Yeah, it definitely. And I've said that the last couple of times I went into it. I don't want to stop playing it. Like, it's just such a good game, and so engaging, and not because it's easy. Although, I mean, I guess you can make it easy. Just quite the contrary. It's actually very, very challenging, and but you're on the edge of your seat the whole time that you're playing. Like it's intense. It's slow and deliberate, but intense at the same time. It's kind of hard to describe. This world you're in is kind of like a radioactive echo, like a fever dream of the world that once was. It's kind of like you got sucked into the Bermuda Triangle and ended up in Chernobyl or something. It's really unique, and it's really a one-of-a-kind game, and I can't recommend it enough.
What's up with the sun? Like, that's the thing, like, or what? I'm assuming that's the sun, right? I mean, it looks like something happened to it.
Like a perpetual eclipse or something.
Yeah. No, maybe they just blew it up. Who knows?
Yeah, and the compass always points to that thing on your map, so it's easy to get your bearing because of this giant thing in the sky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys, what happened to me is, which I don't think I've ever done in the PC version. I had set my quest down and forgot to turn it off when I was playing, and I went and did something for like 10 minutes. I came back. I was out in a mission when I did it. I came back and I was completely in pitch black. I was out at night, and shit gets hairy at nighttime because you can't see anything, dude. You need that flashlight just to even move. Like I came back and I put the headset on. I'm like, oh shit, it must have like glitched out or something because everything is all pitch black. I couldn't see a screen. And I just happened to turn my head and I caught a little reflection of something. I'm like, oh no, it's just pitch black right now. I had to take my flashlight out. You can't see anything. It's scary, and you got to get back. You got to get back. You got to complete. You can either complete your mission and get back, or just run and get back, because you can't see any of those shadow figures at nighttime.
Well, and the thing is when you use the flashlight, you're attracting them to you.
Exactly.
So you can't just willy-nilly use your flashlight either, right? So it's like the conundrum. I need to see, but I also need to not die. So
yeah, double-edged sword for sure, because I mean, all of the enemies are black, so it's very difficult to see them at night. But at the same time, you know, if you get that flashlight out, they're going to be able to see you even easier than you can see them.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to weigh your options there.
Yep.
Now, back to what you were saying, Eric, about it being more approachable. And I'm not sure about this. I didn't spend enough time in there to verify, but it did seem like the things that you have to keep track of, like the meters on your watch, there's not as much to it as there was last time I played it on PC. For example, like I don't think it's like as important for you to like eat and sleep now, or at least it didn't seem like it was. Like before, you had to make sure you were well fed. If you got tired, you needed to lay down, find a place where you can sleep for a few hours. And while those things are still present in the game, it didn't really present itself as an issue the whole time I was playing.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I had to eat. I ate, but I never had to sleep. I didn't really ever take that much damage where I had to, because I think sleeping will help you recover from damage too. But I never really needed to. I did eat. I had a candy bar in my bag, and I think I ate that at one point. But
did
even
you
the
feel
tide,
like you needed to though?
No, I mean I did it because I thought I needed to for health, but I think I was just either I didn't get any indicators that I needed it. I just did it because it was kind of there. But yeah, I mean, it's not, and I didn't have a problem with the tide like I did in the PC version. The tide was, I always had an issue with the tide because, you know, the tide is, you know, will come there. If you're out there when the tide comes, it will basically just, it'll reset the entire map, but it'll move you to a different part of the map. So you're always like trying to make sure you're not around when the tide happens, and the alarm's always going off and everything. I never had an issue with that in this run at all.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect to this game. Again, that kind of puts it in a class by itself. So you have your map. There are resources and enemies scattered out all over the map. But you can clear that stuff, right? You can kill the enemies. You can, you know, search through the areas. But like every 5 days or so, or maybe it's once a week, the event happens. And the event basically resets the entire map. And it won't kill you if you're out in the map. It'll just kind of teleport you someplace randomly. But you really have to consider that when you're doing your missions, right? There's certain areas. Some of these missions take you to the far reaches of the map, and you got to walk everywhere you go. And you know, okay, I've got this area cleared of enemies, and this area is heavy with enemies. It all resets, so you kind of have to plan your missions around how much time you have to the next reset. So if there's only a day left and you have a difficult mission on the other side of the map, sometimes it makes sense to just kind of scavenge with the time you have left and wait to go fulfill that mission, because you don't want to get out there, have the reset happen, get, you know, whisked away to some area that you're not familiar with, and then have to fight your way back all the way through enemies you've already killed.
It's exciting though. It's randomness. I think I'm going to do it on story mode.
An easy mode, yeah.
An easy mode, yeah.
Space Dust 97 joining us says, hey strangers, glad you're covering the game. I have my reservations about it. I think I'll compare it too much to Stalker and be disappointed. Minimal baddies, it seems. Well, early on, yeah, kind of. They're a little bit few and far between early on, but as time goes on and you reach further out into the map, there's actually quite a few enemies in it. But I'll tell you what, I don't know if you have access to PCVR or not, or a Steam machine, but if you do, it's your lucky day because courtesy of our friend Mickey Barrios, we have a key to give away right now. First person in my chat that tells me who the developer is of Into the Radius
Oh, I know this one.
will receive a copy on Steam for free, courtesy of our friend Mickey. Thank you, Mickey, for your ongoing support. You're awesome.
He's awesome.
He is awesome.
Anyway, here's your chance to get it for free, Space Dust. Let's see what you got.
Can I answer it and give it to Space Dust?
No. You got the cheat sheet, bro.
Oh, dude.
And you've got the time delay.
That's true. Damn it.
Again, first person to name the developer of the game wins the game.
Seriously, people, I'm really going to name it here in about a second and give it to Space Dust if nobody answers this. Scion has talked about this game for about 15 years, people.
Yep. Real easy thing to Google. Just saying.
This is an expensive game, too. This is like a $29
Yeah, $30.
game.
It's a $30
$30 game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the answer is not crema. Crema is something that you put on chicken enchiladas.
Crema's good. Yeah.
February USA. Alf says, who wants it? Apparently, a lot of people have it already. It's the thing with these Steam copies. And I think it's on. There you go.
There
Space
you
Dust
go.
wins
I was
it.
about to give it to
All
you.
right, you did it.
Just ahead of Brandon C. All right. So, yeah, congratulations, Space Dust. Hit me up on the Discord after the show, and I'll copy and paste the key right over
How
to you.
crazy is that?
Congratulations.
Space Dust was on the fence, not knowing. Now you get it for free. It doesn't matter if it's like too much like Stalker. I think you're gonna love it. It's like 20-hour game,
Dude.
and it's really cool.
It's freaking VR, man. Even if it's anything like it, close to it, it's freaking VR. You can't play Stalker in VR, right? So this is the closest you're going to get. And congratulations to CM Games for making a kick-ass Quest 2 game, man.
Yeah.
This is not freaking Beat Saber. This is not, Garden of the Sea. This is a deep game. We don't have enough of these games that will last you 20 hours that you can sink your teeth into. We don't have these challenging games on Quest 2. We just don't get them very often. So, man, I am super happy with them. They did a great job, man. This thing looks beautiful. It plays great. The mechanics are really good. They took their time with it, Wes. They didn't release a jank fest to begin with.
Yeah.
They learned their lesson, and they did a really good job, man. And this is not easy, man. This is a Quest 2. This is a freaking mobile headset, and that they made this beautiful looking game on. So they kicked ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Top 10 Quest game? Probably, right?
Yeah. There's no other game like this on the Quest 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's really no other game like this in VR, quite honestly. This is kind of it's kind of in a league of its own. So, Space That says, I got a Steam result that didn't get the right page for the first answer I gave with crema. Oh, Paradise Case says, I hope this donation is just £2.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
2 million pounds. Jesus.
Oh, thank God.
That's
We can
crazy.
retire.
Herb, the 24/7 Game Cat. Good morning. See, this is the cool thing about going on super late, Roots, is that friends like Herb from across the pond can join us and hang out.
Yeah, I feel a little bit bad for the people that are, want to be here from the States, but we'll give the UK an actual chance to watch a show, right? It is nice.
Who doesn't love Herb?
That's true. That's true. I love some Herb.
A lot of people in
Oh.
our community, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, yeah, definitely check this out on Quest. You're not missing out on anything playing this on Quest, and you can't always say that about these PC ports. This is uncommonly good port to Quest, and an uncommonly deep game for Quest. I mean, I can't think of many games with this kind of level of depth to the gameplay. I mean, I mean, there's saints and sinners, but even that game isn't quite. If you're just talking about depth, it really isn't on the level like nothing else is really.
Yeah, this one's crazy. It's just really good.
Anyway, congratulations, Space Dust. Definitely a recommend here for $30 from me. You guys agree, right? This is $30 all day long.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. $40 all day long, I'd pay.
Well, yeah, really, it's a deal at $30. And here's the thing: the devs aren't even as good as it is. They're not even done with this game. If history has shown me anything, like they just keep plugging away. I mean, you think at some point they're going to finish and say, you know what, we're walking away, finite or fin, right? And at some point they will.
Yeah, and we do need to explain to Brandon C really quickly so he doesn't think he got gypped. The way the chat works, Brandon, is you know everyone else's results come up through the internet. Yours goes up on your screen instantly as soon as you hit the thing. So all we can do is go by what mine says, because I'm kind of the one in YouTube Studio, and I've got it set to live chat. So we just have to award it to whoever comes up first on my screen, and yeah, unfortunately not you this time. So I'm sorry about that. Every time I fail to say that before we do a giveaway, someone always.
I think you.
Says,
I think
you did say
you
it.
did say it. If we go back and watch, I'm pretty sure you said it.
I think you did.
And it's just selectively not heard.
Maybe. I will say this though, Brandon. This is a Viveport Infinity title, as I recall.
That's true.
So anybody can play this on there if this is something you're interested in trying out. They do a 2-week free trial, and there's over 1,000 games in Viveport Infinity. This is one of them.
How do they make money? Jesus.
Yeah, right. Or you can show up. You can show up to Q2C VR Gamer live tomorrow night. You can win a copy.
Now you want to show up for Q2C VR Gamer anyway. That's just the copy of the chance to get a copy is just the cherry on top.
That's true. We got Brad tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, sadly it's Bradley, and that's even one more reason to go. Like I was already talking without him. That is a really good reason though. I love Bradley.
He's all right.
It's going to be a hardware episode, eh?
No, I think it's going to be a background of Brad episode. Like I want to know about Brad.
Oh.
Like everybody has Brad on there. Like Brad, tell us about whatever you know that's coming out. And
I want to know why he smells,
dude. Yeah, that's what I want to know. That why does Brad smell?
Or what does Brad smell like?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Or maybe it just says that he's just saying that Brad smells. He uses his nose. So
anyway, that should be a good episode. Love to hear Brad's story. Super interesting. You know, he kind of got started by winning an esports competition. He's an esports champion.
He did. Brass-tastic.
VR esports. Yeah. But anyway, let's move along and on to the next game, which I have no idea what it is. Roots, what are we talking about next?
I figure we'd save the best thing for last, and we'll go on to another amazing built from the ground up VR game. In what's the name of it? Eolia.
Eolia.
I got it as wow. I can't say what I have it put as, but
Rhythm of the Universe.
Yes.
Eolia. Launched a few days ago in the dark of night quietly. I had no idea this game was even out yet. This is the follow-up to Rhythm of the Universe Eolia, which came out for all platforms last year, if I remember correctly. Heavily story-driven, music-based puzzle game. That, it got the original Eolia got some things right, and it got some things very, very wrong. So when we heard about this game, the sequel coming out so quickly after the last one, very skeptical that this is going to be something worth putting your time into. But Eric, I'm glad to say that this is shockingly the mirror opposite of Eolia in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, I have to kind of like eat my words here a little bit, and I don't like to do this very often, but I was wrong about this game. I really did not think this game was going to be very good. I had no faith in the developers after the first game, and when they asked me to come and see it at the booth at PAX West, I'm like, "You sure you want me to come see this?" And they're like, "Yep." And when they do that, usually they know something, right? They don't want you to come there and kill their game. So if they're asking you to come when they know that you were already, critical of the first game, they usually know something. And when I went in there and I saw what this game looked like, I was completely blown away. And I kind of got some background information a little bit about Ionia. So before we get into Eolia, let me tell you about Ionia. So Ionia was in production for like 3 years, right in the middle of the pandemic. They had everything. They were working on everything really, really hard. This game was never meant to be a Quest game at all. It was meant to be a PC game, and then it was meant to be something that they showed on cruise ships in VR. Like a little experiences, like those little location-based experiences. They were going to do it in cruise ships. But because of the pandemic and that they shut down all these cruise ships, they had no other choice because they had contracts to do this on like so many cruise ships, and this was how they were gonna make a ton of money, and they basically had nothing at that point, and they were like, "What do we do? How do we recoup any money at all?" And they're like, Meta was like, put it on Quest. So they went and they put this thing on Quest, and that's why this thing looked so terrible. And they admit it. They admit that the game was meant for PC, wasn't meant to be a Quest game, and when they put it on Quest, it wasn't good. I also have some news about this. They're coming up in the 1-year anniversary of Ionia, and they have a 1-year anniversary huge update coming that they say is going to fix the visuals and fix anything that was broken in the game. And he's like, because I was like, look, I know you've been working in this game. I ate my words on this new one. I'll go back and I'll play the old one again just to see how you've been doing. He's like, don't do it. He's like, wait till my update's in, then go look at it and play it, because it's going to be so much better with the anniversary edition update. So
nice. It wasn't all bad with Ionia. It still stands as one of the more beautiful games we've ever seen on PC. Right. But you're right, the Quest version was very much less than. And Roots, it wasn't just, it wasn't just that it looked bad on Quest. Really what killed Ionia was the interactions and the controls. The movement was janky. The puzzles were simplistic, and your interactions with the puzzles had a lot of jank to them. That's why it was so shocking when we got into Eolia, because the weakness of the last game actually turns out to be the strength of this game.
Yeah, there was no jank. I couldn't find any jank in this. I'm climbing around. Everything was smooth. The puzzles were not only intuitive and cool. I thought they were like super cool. Like I feel like I'm on an adventure, right? I feel like I'm exploring, and I'm really having to. I don't know. It's different. I was blown away from it from the very beginning, even just on the ride through the story. It was like I was playing a completely different series. You know what I mean? Not that Ionia wasn't good, the first one, and I really want to see it after everything's changed. But I just feel like this is so much better to me. Like this is a proper sequel.
Yeah, and Eric, not only did they nail the controls and everything worked perfectly in this right out of the box, this is it might be the only game that I've ever used hand tracking in that I feel like I could play through it with hand tracking if I had to. Like the locomotion system that they come up with for this game with the hand tracking, not only does it work well, it's kind of ingenious.
Yeah, and it's different than any other hand tracking game for locomotion that you've ever seen. Like I've never seen any of them do this exactly like this before. I mean, there was that other game, Rogue Ascent, that kind of had something like this, but not really. And you know what I was surprised about the most in this game? The hand tracking, the climbing. The climbing was so goddamn good. Like you could do if I was the climb, I would go to them and go, tell us how you did this, because there's no reason that you should ever use a controller again playing the game The Climb, because this was some of the best climbing I've ever done. And remember how broken the first game was with climbing?
Yeah.
It's like they got everything right here, and they did hand tracking climbing the best I've ever seen. So this was one of the couple of the things that really shocked me the most. Like when I was climbing, I'm like, I took the headset off when doing the demo. I'm like, dude, the climbing is so good. And you guys got it so bad the first time, but you nailed it this time. So yeah, I mean the motion. Now you can use controllers here too. I don't even know if you guys knew that, but you can use controllers. You don't have to use hand tracking, because some people just don't want to, and I get it. You know, if you feel it's gimmicky and you feel like, yeah, okay, it's kind of a pain in the ass, just use your controllers. It's fine. It works great both ways. But it really is kind of an ingenious way to move. I've never seen anything like it.
Guess if I used if I used hand tracking.
You use the controllers.
I didn't. It all came up and it said in the very first thing, this is first off a hand tracking experience, and I literally said out loud, not for me. It's not gonna be, because I didn't know it was gonna be as good as you guys are saying, for honestly. And just watching this video and the way that you're like pinching and pushing forward, it does look different and unique. Because that was my thought. I was thinking, how the fuck are you supposed to move? This is locomotion, right? So it does seem like it's really ingenious, and that's pretty cool. I really did enjoy the puzzles that I came across so far, the musical ones, like this one and so forth. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they managed to pull off full smooth locomotion with smooth turning, just by using hand tracking, and it works for this game. Now we should be clear that, like, if you're in a a fast-paced action shooter or something, it wouldn't work. But since you're in a slow, deliberate puzzle game, story-driven puzzle game, it works for this, and it works well, and it works every time.
I was just gonna say, Brandon C. Throwing out a couple of donations there. He says, here's 2/3 of another into the radius, and then the second one, and the last third to make it 3/3 weight, a whole one, 3 out of $3 thingies.
So thank you, man. That's amazing. So $30 donation from Brandon. Thank you. That's awesome. And then Guido comes in right on his tail with another $20. He says, okay, I don't know what third this is. So thank you, Brandon. Awesome. Thank you, Chris. That's amazing, guys.
Absolutely.
Wow. Really, really appreciate the support. That's it's huge. It's everything. Thank you so much. But yeah, man. So we come into this with very low expectations, based on a seeming inability from the dev team to figure out locomotions and how to do a proper puzzle, which was a shame, because the original, again, one of the most beautiful games we ever played on PC, and the story was great too. Like we wanted to see the story continue on, but honestly skeptical that we would ever see them put another game out. Movement aside, interactions aside, another thing that we were really critical about with the original Eric was that it was short. It was like an hour-long experience. It was hard for us to kind of even call it a game. Not the case here. This is a full-fledged game. I didn't finish it. I don't know how far it goes, but I've got well over the amount of time that it took me to finish the first one, and it seems like I'm just getting started.
6 to 7 hours, he tells me, the developer, to beat this game. 6 to 7 hours, depending on how quickly you can get through some of the puzzles.
I thought I saw something that said 26 puzzles, right?
Yeah, I mean, could be. I never asked him how many puzzles, but that's very possible. I mean, that's for 6 to 7 hours. I mean, this is a full-fledged game now, right? I mean, to me before it was it was like you could run through it in 45 minutes, really. I mean, 45 minutes. If you were like, this game's not good, I don't know if I want to finish it. You were probably that close to finishing it. You know what I mean? Because if you spent half an hour in it, you were so close to finishing it anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's 6 to 7 hours, a full game. And Wes, you know what he told me? Remember they had talked about, because I told him, I'm like, dude, I really didn't think you were going to I said, I knew you guys wanted to make 33 of these games. I never thought you guys would get a chance to make another one just because how poorly the first one did. And he said, we want to make 7 of these.
Oh,
not
Jesus.
3, 7. So he's
Wow.
like, if this one does well, and we hope it will, and it looks like it should, they want to do 7 of these. They have a whole universe. They have a whole huge story to tell here. And it seems like and the story here is super full. I mean, there is like backstory here, and there's like lore, and there's this stuff here, man.
Yeah. I was super impressed with the just the kind of depth of the lore here, and the way that the game is structured. I mean, there's layers upon layers to this thing. It literally, when I said that this game is the mirror opposite of the first one, like it literally everything is upside down from what the first game was. It's completely different. The only thing that really is a constant between the two is the way that they tell the story. Like high production value with in terms of the music and the voice acting. It's all top notch stuff here. Seems like a Hollywood production.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Black Market Honey says, good morning from sunny Sweden. Well, good morning, Black Market Honey. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Eric, one big question I have about this game, and you mentioned that the first one was kind of designed for PC and never was meant to come to Quest. Well, this one was designed for Quest, but it looks great in the Quest. Don't get me wrong, but everything else is so great in this game. The gameplay, the sound, the storytelling, the depth of and layers to the game and the inventory systems. I really want to see this on PC or PlayStation VR 2. Any indication from the developer that this game might come to other platforms? That way we can kind of get the best of both worlds. The visuals from the first game kind of superimposed over everything else from this game.
Yeah, I mean, so you're going to see the standalone on other platforms for sure, the standalone version, and you will see a PC version. It was one of the questions I asked him in the interview, and he said definitely, they have plans to make the PC version. They're actually working on it right now, and we definitely will see a Steam version. And I asked him, is this going to be just a port of the Steam version from the Quest 2 game? Because we've seen developers do that before, right? They just port it to Steam from the Quest 2 version, so we get the Quest 2 version on Steam, and we don't get a graphical and visual upgrade. That's not the case. He says it's going to be definitely a graphical and visual upgrade to the PC version when they do finish it.
Mr. BN says, good morning from Holland. Good morning, friends. See, Roots, all of our friends from across the seas coming out.
So cool, right? My favorite part.
Guys, what do you think about riding what do you think about riding these things that we see? You get to jump on one of these things and freaking ride it, man.
Yeah, it's like riding an elephant, like a pachyderm.
Yeah.
Right? It's great, man.
I just tell people to follow the directions, because it tells you what to do. And then I'm like, what am I, like, this isn't working. And then I do what it tells me to do, what it told me to do. And I'm like, oh yeah, it told me to do that. Like, you know what I mean? It took me like probably 10 minutes to get on that fucking thing. That took about that guy 30 seconds because I was just like walking around trying to figure out why it wouldn't let me get on top of it. And I just hadn't done a step that I was supposed to do.
I got stuck there too. I got stuck there for like 10 minutes.
Did you get, that's what I was like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, this is crazy.
I got stuck there in the middle of the freaking packed showroom. Do it in the middle of the packed showroom where you feel stupid, people watching you, and you're like, I can't figure this out. I had to ask the guy, the developer. I'm like, what do I do next? He's like, maybe try and pour it on the fire.
Well, for me, it was like they tell you to go and get your stuff from the wagon, which you do. You go over, you get in that box, you get your little satchel thing, right? And I thought that was it. And like nothing happened. The guy that you're talking to just sits there and looks at you. Don't give you any kind of hints or anything. And I mean, I took the headset off, took a break, came back to it, and that's when I realized that there was something else. See, the bag that you take out of that box, that's not the only thing in the box. There's a key in there too.
Right.
I didn't see the key.
Oh, so you never even opened up the second box. Okay.
Right. And after you get that key out, it's obvious what to do. Open up the second box. You talk to the dude a little bit more. You open up the chest, and then you can go ride the thing. But I kept trying to climb up on it, kept grabbing that thing, and wouldn't let me on it. But you could see up on its back, there's like this indicator of how to drive it.
It's glowing too, right?
Yeah,
You're thinking,
yeah.
okay, is it gonna pull me up? No, it's not pulling you up.
So I thought the game was just broken.
Yeah, I did find one glitch in the game. Actually, Todd found it. So Todd was doing the demo on the show floor, and in that scene, he for some reason, instead of like doing what he needed to do with that potion or that water jug, he set it down on the stump next to the fire, and all of a sudden it started cloning more jugs, and it made about
awesome.
50. It just kept popping out more jugs, and you hear clink, 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 and then all of a sudden he would look, and there was a huge pile of jugs next to the fire. It must have been 50 or 100.
You're like, Todd, what'd you do?
The guy's like, well, he's like, the CEO Jason Parks is like, it's doing what? So he pulls the headset off. This is the day it launched, by the way. He pulls the headset off. He looks at it. He goes, "Oh my god, how did this get by the Quest?"
Because
Meta QA.
Unless somebody puts down that bottle in that spot, how are you gonna know, right?
I did it again today just to see if it's still there, and it's still there. If you
wow.
if you drop it next to the fire, it's going to just continue to duplicate. He said they were going to work on it, but you know how it is with Meta. Once you launch something, you cannot just patch it easy. Like you have to like get your patch approved, and it's not something you can do quickly and easily. Like Steam, you can just patch shit anytime. You don't even have to ask.
That's because Valve wants you to have your shit out there and working good, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
Now that you mention it, I found a bug myself. And it's in this part where you kind of stand in the middle of the platform and you stick your hands into the holes. And then all of a sudden the rings from the edge of the platform start spinning around like an astrolabe. And I think what you're supposed to do here is you take this floating potion that the person you're talking to gives you, and I think you're supposed to float off of the platform across the gap and keep going.
Right.
But for me, those rings never stopped spinning, and I couldn't get across them. Like it just wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me off. There was an invisible wall that kept me on the platform, and I couldn't get off. And I ended up quitting and going to the menu, and then coming back into the game. And when you come back in, it puts you on the other side of, on the edge instead of in the middle. But the rings were still flying around. Like I couldn't get across it. What I had to do was leave the room, go back the way I came, leave the room. And then when I came back in, the rings had settled and I could walk across it. But yeah, I got stuck there for a minute. I don't think that was supposed to happen that way.
Yeah. But they're super few and far between, so don't let us, don't let those couple of silly things, deter you from getting this game. It's super worth it. It's one of the best looking Quest games I've ever seen, and I can't believe I'm saying that after seeing the first game. Like the visuals in this game are amazing, and the scope is big too, right? And these are not indoor environments either. You're outside, this huge draw distance, and I mean, they kind of hide things with a little like a sandstorm here or maybe a little fog there, but even the textures, Wes, remember how flat everything looked before? Like the ground before had this wallpaper look to it with no depth and no texture at all. Everything looked like it was painted. This looks like it has full depth and 3D effect, right?
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what this thing's going to look like on PC. I mean, with the kind of gameplay and storytelling that they have in this title, if it has graphics that are on par with the original Ionia, I mean, I hate to kind of say this without playing through it, but I mean, this might be something we're talking about at the end of the year, right?
Yeah,
it's very possible. If this story, I'm going to finish this game because I'm super excited to play it more because I'm going to see what else I can do in here. But if this story fleshes out and the puzzles get cooler and better, and we see definitely some more environments, I mean, this is definitely up there for me right away. I mean, it's up there with Red Matter. I mean, the visuals are pretty close. You gotta remember, Red Matter was all inside, by the way, too. This isn't a lot of outdoor environments here. This is not easy to do on the Quest 2.
Yeah, and the first one just kind of a few puzzles scattered in between a basic story experience. This is a full-fledged thing with a journal, a full inventory that you're taking with you. You get a ride on creatures, as we already spoke about. So, I mean, this is a proper adventure game. It really is.
Yeah, those puzzles are cool too. At least the ones that I've done so far. I like going just jumping on those symbols and climbing through the caves, and I just felt like it was really cool. It was different, and I
Yeah,
really
that part
enjoyed
was
my time.
awesome.
Yeah.
That part was awesome. The platforming, and you know, again, this whole thing kind of revolves around vibration and music. A lot of kind of new age philosophy kind of worked into this world. And you're platforming and you're jumping. You don't realize it at first, but the platforms themselves are giant cymbals from like drums. So when you land on them, and
And they're
that
moving.
whole
It was cool.
yeah, that whole level was cool because you're climbing to the top of this mountain to get to the top of the tower. But you know, I ended up falling off one of those symbols, and I thought I was dead. But I ended up catching myself on like a ridge in the mountain, and I said, "Well, you know, let's just walk this out. Maybe it's just a glitch. Maybe I'm supposed to die." But I ended up finding myself on a platform, and then there's caves that go through the mountain and different doorways and areas. Like it was really surprising just how fleshed out that level was. Like there's different levels all up the mountain on the surface and inside the mountain. Uh, and again, the whole thing is just a big giant circuitry puzzle, which when you get to the top and you see kind of the heart of the puzzle, it's very daunting, right? Like I think it's going to take me an hour just to solve that thing.
Yeah, I really liked how the portals, right? Like I guess you go into different worlds, right? Like the different colored things that you're unlocking. Just everything about it was super cool. Maddie Fat Batcat says the visuals are not even close to Red Matter 2. And
No.
well,
That's true.
yeah, it said Red Matter 2 is definitely in a different league, but this is different as far as it just looks beautiful, and it's outdoor stuff. And Mickey Bear says, you know who else likes your hands in the holes?
My mom.
Mickey. Man.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm the one that said.
Yeah, I would say that the visuals are not, again, they're not Red Matter 2. I'm just saying that they're very, very good, and they're almost as good. And remember, Red Matter 2 is pretty much all inside. So it's easier to do those visuals, especially when you can destroy everything behind you. Can't do that here.
Right.
You
Yeah, I
know what
would
mean?
say
You're not-
as far as like graphical detail, that's not the strength of the game. I mean, it looks good. It's fine for a quest game. I'd say there's more detail even in Into the Radius. You know, but again, Into the Radius is exceptional. But it's not about that here. That's what's so surprising because the original, that's what it was all about. Well, not on Quest, obviously, but on PC, it was all about that eye candy. But this, you have a real legit game that has depth on many levels. The storytelling and audio is still top notch, just like it was the first time. But you know, the graphics they're good. They're very good. They're not great. They're very good. But like Eric said, the PC version's coming, and when that version comes out and it has the kind of graphical fidelity to match everything else in the game, I think at that point it's going to be an exceptional title. And plus, what is this thing, like $15, Eric?
Yeah, it's $14.99. I mean, that's
Wow. That's crazy.
It's a great price. And scale is important too. I mean, to me, scale is big. When I can go into an environment, I look around and I'm like, holy crap! Did you see the size of that contraption or that mountain? Scale is big to me because I think it really lends itself to bringing you into the game. So that's important to me. And then I put that as part of graphical fidelity.
Right.
So you know, we said that same thing about Warhammer, right? The size and the scale of some of those environments. To me, that's part of it. You know, is this polished like Red Matter 2? No, but I think the visuals are pretty top notch for a Quest 2 game. They're one of the better Quest 2. And again, compared to the first game, that's maybe that's why it jumps out to me so much. The first game looked that bad that this one looks so good.
Wow.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. That literally, like, when you're talking about the scale and really the level of detail in this game, it's very similar to Warhammer Age of Sigmar Tempest Fall, like the Quest version of that game. In this game, they look a lot alike, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, definite recommend here. Like a no-brainer at $15. That seems Actually, Roots, I think that's kind of underpricing it a little bit.
Yeah, it's a steal for $15. I mean, it's probably a $30 game for the amount of time with the polish, the gameplay. You're getting it for half price, and it's not even on sale.
Yeah. So really looking forward to more from the studio. It's a definite recommend if you have a Quest out there. You should be picking this up quickly at $15. I look forward not only to the PC version of this game, but now I'm looking forward to getting back in Ionia after they update it. Like, I have no doubt that they can fix the controls and everything that was wrong with that game now. So that one,
after this, after playing this,
Yeah,
hell
for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, not only did they nail the controls with controllers, but you don't even need controllers to play this. It's just fine without them. You can use your hands and it works well.
How do you have to pull up to jump?
You kind of like take you pinch with your fingers and you kind of like flick yourself like this. You flick your hand like that, and that makes you jump straight up in the air.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so literally, the way it works, to move around, you pinch like this with your left hand, and you just kind of hold it forward, and you walk in that direction, or you can move it left and right to strafe, or pull it back to walk backward, and then with the right hand you do the same thing for the turning, and then if you want to jump, you just kind of do that. Yeah, it works
Yeah,
great.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty. It really is an ingenious way to do it. You know, for me, hand tracking is still a little gimmicky. I don't know if I'd play the whole game this way, just because. To me, it's not a big deal. I mean, I don't mind using it. Having controllers doesn't bother me. Some people are like super into not having to use the controllers, and if you are, I mean, you can play through this entire game not using anything, and it's a very cool effect. If you want to show somebody what hand tracking is all about, really good game to show them how to do it. But I don't know. Going back, I might just use the controllers. I don't even know.
Yeah, that's the way I played it with the hand tracking for a little while, but I ended up just picking the controllers back up because while this works very well, it's kind of hard to do both at the same time, you know, and so what you end up doing is moving, and then turning, and then moving, and then turning, and again, for a slow-paced puzzler like this, it works, but it's not the same as having thumbsticks, right?
Yeah, and it's a little counterintuitive too, because you know how it is with hand tracking. You have to be looking at your hands, right? So if you look away from your hands at something else, your tracking is not going to work. But this game wants you to look at everything. It wants you to look up. It wants you to see how big the scale is. It wants you to see everything. So I ended up having I was hearing this where they're showing where you're like plucking the strings of the guitar. I ended up looking at the thing in front of me because it was so freaking big and huge that I would lose tracking trying to pluck the strings because I wasn't looking at the strings anymore. So yeah, it's a little counterintuitive in that sense. But it's great that they gave you the opportunity to use your controllers when you need to or when you want to.
Yeah. Excellent game. Gamertag VR joining us. GT, I don't know if maybe you wrote this one off because the original Ionia was so bad. But if that's the case, you should check it out. This is a solid, legitimate game and a steal at $15. It really is.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
it's really good.
Anyway, let's get into this week's mod. We took a week off last week and didn't do any mods, and we were heading down that path again this week until again the handy capable gamer tipped it off and let us know that Ghost Runner Tokyo was now fully playable in VR, thanks to our friend Luke Ross. When I say our friend, a guy that I've talked to one time in my life.
You guys
this
are
dude
tight,
I talked
man.
to one time, Luke Ross.
You should say like you guys are besties.
We are besties.
Yeah, I don't know.
GT was asking what the game was that we were just talking about.
Eolia, Rhythm of the Universe, Eolia.
Yeah.
It's Quest exclusive. It came out last week quietly. Again, I had no idea this game even came out till Eric let us know that we had a review key coming, and I was like, cool, we're going to get to play it early. And then I looked at the store and it's already out. And I'm like, what the hell? How did I miss that? Like, I don't know.
Nobody knew. I didn't know. I was interviewing him, and I'm like, oh, when's it come out? And he's like, yeah, it launched today. During the interview, I'm like, really?
Yeah, I check it every week. When I do that out this week segment, I always go to the Quest store and look at what's coming soon and see what the dates are. I always go to the Steam store and look at the coming soon on there. I check it weekly, and I had no idea. I knew this game was coming. I didn't know that it was out. Like I completely missed it. So, yeah, I don't know what the deal with that was, but we'll do our best to get the word out there now that it's available, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Ghost Runner Tokyo is a game that I've been hyped for since the very first moment I saw the initial reveal trailer. This game is it's kind of like a Japanese cyberpunk action game, which is beautiful visually, of course. You know, for a while I thought this was a PS5 exclusive, but thankfully it's not. It's out on PC as well. What I didn't expect, Roots, was just how much exploration there is in this game. Really, more than, or at least as much as this is an action game, this is an exploration game, which I found really cool.
Yeah, and you wouldn't know it from the beginning because it's kind of like it's more of a tutorial beginning, right? Kind of feels confined, and then it kind of opens up. But yeah, this game, it blew me away. I was not thinking it was going to be as cool as it was. Like you said, open, and then just like visually from the beginning, just blowing those enemies, the particles, and I mean, it looks like this game was made for VR. And maybe, do you think it's coming for PSVR too? I mean, it sure looks like it was made for VR to me.
So, oh my God, it does.
Yeah, so it's a first-person, gesture-based spellcasting action game. So I mean, just those words alone scream VR. And you know, with that said, this mod. It's still a gamepad game. It doesn't have like motion controller support, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. It plays like a shooter, even though it is spellcasting. But the visuals are gorgeous. The story is intriguing. It's kind of this supernatural post-apocalyptic story game and Eric, it's like really, really Japanese, right?
Yeah, I love it. I even love that it's like dubbed, in the language, and then they use not dubbed, but they use subtitles, because it makes you feel like you're playing one of those old JRPG games, man. It's so cool. I love it, and I was reading actually that it's like almost like geographically perfect, like these areas. Like if you've been to Tokyo, the areas that you're in are almost geographically perfect. So they were using a lot of that area. And in VR, I mean, it kind of captures it a little bit flat, because I did play about 20 minutes of this flat. But in VR, when you look up and you see all these buildings crammed together, you feel like you're in Tokyo, man.
That made me want to visit Tokyo. I don't know about you,
yeah.
Roots, but this place is so colorful and awesome looking. It literally made me like, man, I got to go to Japan.
Yeah, I think Tokyo would be an amazing city to visit in general, but in VR, it is beautiful. The reflection, everything about this, it just was gorgeous, right? I do think that, and I don't know if it's the game or if it's this mod, or maybe I need to tweak, or maybe Cyberpunk had more options. Well, actually, it's not even maybe. That was one thing I did notice about this. There's no fucking options for graphics. Like, they're very minimal things you can change, like you can change a couple things, but like Cyberpunk, you could really crank a lot of things up. So I did think Cyberpunk looked better to me in the headset than this did, but it does look beautiful for sure.
Yeah, it does take a little bit of a graphical downgrade when you're playing it in VR, but there are some things you can do. It reads a little bit differently. It's weird how they list things in here. Like you can turn the graphical detail up, which I did, by the way, all the way.
But to 4, right?
I don't remember.
It was like a
4 or
set.
5.
It was 4.
Yeah, whatever. I turned that all up too, it just didn't.
It was called detail streaming or something like that. Like it wasn't called like you normally have a graphics resolution setting. In here they call it detail streaming. And I turned the detail streaming all the way up. I turned the motion blur off. I turned the film grain off. And I tweaked a couple of other things and got it to look a little bit better. But you're right. Cyberpunk probably does look a little bit better. But with that said, this thing runs super smooth. Like I had no issues with frame rate. It was solid 90 the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think
Yeah,
the
right.
gameplay here was a little bit more. The story's really intriguing. Is what for me is like, you know what I mean? Like you're this guy that got taken over by I don't know what it is, right? Somebody that's dead. I feel like there's obviously there's two factions, and I don't know which side's the good side and which side's the bad, because you can kind of look at it from both sides, right? I kind of feel like I'm getting played, but at the same time, I feel like this guy's helping me. So it's a very weird place to be, but I really enjoyed the story so far.
Yeah, it's a spiritual battle between two warring factions, and while everyone else living has, you know, disappeared, vanished, become one with the spirit world, you're kind of spared that fate because of this entity possessing you right at that moment. So you're kind of like the only living creature left, other than cats and dogs. For some reason, they managed to make it through too. Um, but you're kind of doing the bidding of the being that possesses you, and he he's basically going to war with this faction of seemingly evil spirits that happen. You know, you just so happen to come across in the hotel or the hospital room where your sister was originally. So, you know, obviously there's a lot more going on with the story than I've uncovered in my few hours playing it. But just a beautiful atmosphere, fun gameplay. Let's talk a little bit about the gameplay, Eric. It kind of plays like a shooter, but not like 1-to-1, because there's so many different techniques that you can learn and unlock through the skill tree.
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, it is like a shooter, but it's more involved than that. And I love the effect of like when when you get the enemies low enough, you get to like pull their essence out of them. I mean,
That
it's
is cool.
such a cool maneuver. And man, I really wish there was touch controls here, because that would be really cool. Because we all the time say, like, I don't want to have to swing an axe 500 times in VR. But this one, I think, would lend itself perfectly to a touch controller, because you wouldn't have to like make big movements, right? You could just use your triggers, or you could use a pull maneuver, or whatever. But it would just be super cool. Like I really want to see like Prey Dog do something, with this, and put motion, because we know that Luke Ross won't do it. He just doesn't do them. He's not going to do them. So I want to see like somebody like Prey Dog, who does motion controllers support really, really well, make this, because this is perfect for motion controllers. Now again, it works really, really good with a game controller. It's fine. I actually even used mouse and keyboard for a little bit when I was playing it, and that's fine too. But I mean, I want motion support with this, and I don't say that about most of them, but this one I think it really needs to be.
Well, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you do in this game is gesture based. Like some of the puzzles,
Exactly.
you have to move your hands in a certain way, and they kind of adapt that to the gamepad. But again, it just seems like something that was made for VR that just kind of got shoehorned into a flat game.
Do you think it was a chance that it maybe was going to be a VR game, and because the PSVR 2 got delayed, that they just couldn't make it work, so they figured we'll just ship it. We'll ship it now flat, and then maybe we'll do it when the PSVR 2 launches.
God, I hope so. I hope so, because I really, really am digging this game, and it's not just all the gameplay either, and the environment's roots. We come back to it time and time again. Surrealism is a different thing in VR, and when the world just shifts around you like you're in a waking dream or a waking nightmare, it's so impactful in VR, and there's a lot of that in this game. Certain sequences where literally the world gets turned upside down.
Yeah, just right there, you saw everything on the tables just kind of did something weird. It's very bizarre. It's very strange. It's the kind of thing you couldn't experience being, on a flat screen, being in that environment. And that's the thing to take. I see in the chat people are Space Dust saying better than not being in VR at all, at least, because there's this is the thing. If this was an official release on PSVR 2 and it had a controller, people would be like, this is fucking bullshit. But Luke Ross mod, it's okay. It's cool. You're in the environment. It's because that's the thing. You're in this game. You're present in this world. You're in this environment, this amazing environment. The gameplay is still amazing. It doesn't, I just feel like the argument or the whole conversation to me is it's almost feeling silly. It's like we want everything to be in VR. This game is so deep. The gameplay is so amazing. The environments are so amazing. Oh, it's not touch. Fuck it. It's bullshit. It's just trash, dude. It's to me, it's weird anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, and on the surface, again, it's kind of a shooter game, but there's so much more going on here than that. There's a deep progression system with a dozen or so different skill trees that you can upgrade, and an experience system that isn't just revolving around how many enemies you kill, but rather how many souls that you save. There's lost souls scattered all around the city. And literally, like Eric said, it's kind of a one-to-one recreation of Tokyo. And that's even down to like the back alleys and stuff, which is where I find myself spending a lot of time going down little corridors and little back alleys, finding consumables and finding souls to save. And you kind of trap them in these little origami figures, and then you go to these phone booths that have been modified. They pop open, and the souls get sucked out of the origami into the phone booth, and I guess somehow are set free by that. But again, like, even though this is an action game, it's probably 50-50 for me. Like, I spent just as much time exploring the city as I spent, progressing the story and fighting the enemies.
Do you feel like if you played this game enough, you could go to Tokyo in like 6 months and you could just like stroll the streets like you own them, and then be like, dude, this guy, he really knows the back alleys. You know who else loves to hang out in the back alley?
My mom.
She does.
If we know it enough, we can go right now. Tokyo Game Show is going on right now. PSVR.
Oh my God, what do we not? So we should be there. We could be playing this there. Well, probably not.
You talked me into it. Let's go.
That didn't take much.
Can you imagine a last-minute ticket to Tokyo? It'd probably be like 10 grand or something ridiculous.
Not all sunshine and rainbows, though. It is an exploration game. It is a big open map, but it's not open world. There are different areas of the map that you're confined to by this fog that gives you damage if you walk into it. Now, you can clear the fog by cleansing these gates, which opens up parts of the city. But I found it sometimes difficult to see the fog and tell where I'm supposed to go and where I'm not supposed to go. So I find myself walking down an alley or something, and all of a sudden I'm taking damage, and I don't realize what I'm doing until I look up and, oh yeah, I guess I'm not supposed to be here. That probably happened 20 times while I was playing this game, and it was a bit frustrating.
I wonder if it'd be easier to see flat. Be something to notice,
so.
or
It was. Yeah, it was definitely, because like I said, I played through the opening sequence flat, and then I went back to VR and played it, and that fog it's pretty noticeable flat. It just blends in too much, I think, in the VR version. Like, you can see it pretty well in the flat.
When you're in the VR version, again, you take a bit of a graphical hit, and there's the picture itself is a bit dirty. Like, there's a lot of shimmering. There's no anti-aliasing setting in the game at all. So it's not exactly crystal clear. So I feel like that fog kind of gets lost in some of the artifacting and stuff that you get by playing it in VR. Anyway, with that said, it's a super unique game. It's really fun. It kind of got mixed reviews as a flat game. I feel like it's really found its home here in the VR catalog. And I hope that Luke Ross continues to iterate upon it. And like Eric said, hopefully other people grab this and make it into a full-on motion controller supported VR game, because I'm really, really loving it so far. And I really want to come back to it and spend more time in it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Mickey Barrios, if anyone is looking to upgrade their PC, Micro Center has an Intel 11700K with a free Z590 Plus motherboard for $299, or you can get the 11900 for $349. Store pickup only.
Damn.
That's a great deal. That's like $200 off, and that's just like the chip, and not even considering the fact you get the motherboard with it.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
talking with this is Fluke Rogie, talking with Gary about our 3 top VR games. I didn't realize until the end that all 3 of my picks were gamepad games. Yeah, this was kind of something that we often see. You know, when we just did the PSVR top 50 on Without Parole this last week, and 2 of the top 3 games were gamepad games. So, you know, a lot of people, you know, have these generic ill feelings toward gamepad and VR, but that is until you think about it and you realize that a lot of your favorite games are gamepad games.
It's the same thing that people misconception about third-person games, which thank God is starting to finally sink in that people that you can do a third-person VR game. And actually, I would submit that third-person games are going to be huge in VR because those games are huge flat. Like all these Metroidvania games or whatever that everybody loves, there's still a place for them. And being in that world, you're still in that world. You're still like the immersion is still there. Everything is still there. The only thing is you're just using a gamepad that you've used your entire fucking life, and now it's beneath you. It's just weird. This is my rant. It's just such a bizarre thing.
Let me ask you something, Roots. I'm still kind of new to these Luke Ross mods, and when I was playing Ghost Runner yesterday, all I could think the whole time was how I wanted to stream it and share it with people. But the vision on the screen when you're using the alternate eye rendering, it's just a mess. It just jumps back and forth, vibrates the whole time. Is there a way that you know of that's good to stream these games and get a stable capture of it?
You were trying to use the Oculus mirror, I'm assuming?
No, I was using my G2, so I can't use Oculus mirror.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean usually that's typically what I use is the Oculus mirror though, and then there's 2 things you have to turn off to keep it from bouncing around, but that puts everything into one screen instead of the dual, or whatever it looks like, flat, right?
So yeah, if I want to stream it, I should probably play it on my Rift then, and then I can, or try maybe to move it over to Steam VR. Typically, that spells trouble in these Luke Ross mods for me, playing it on the G2 through Steam VR. But this game ran so great, it might actually work that way too.
Yeah, it worked and it looked good on the Quest too. But I mean, obviously, you've got. I mean, if I had a G2, I'd be wanting, especially a game like this, a gamepad game. Like it's made for it, right? You don't have to worry about tracking. So,
yeah, I find it's tough, man, because when I go to the Oculus route, like you have the Quest 2, which looks better visually than the Rift S, but even with the Bobo strap and the face pad, it's just not as comfortable as my other headsets. And then, you have the Rift S, which is super comfortable. And I just put my VR ears on there, by the way, which made it a lot better for like the audio. But it's not as crisp and clear as it is on Quest 2. So it's kind of a trade-off no matter where you go. But I guess it's just price you have to pay if you're going to stream, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of jank in everything, right? So, and PD says VR purists need to let go and experiment. They're really missing out. And I agree. Like even just what we've been doing recently with Reshade is amazing.
You know who loves to let go and experiment?
My mom!
Yeah, sometimes too much. Tell her to calm down, simmer down.
Simmer down now. Braxbro says, yeah, where's the hand tracking? I want to pet that floating cat. Hey, what is it with the friggin' weird cats in these games this week, guys? Like, there was the yokai floating cat in Ghost Runner yesterday, and then today in Eolia, like I forget what the character's name was, but one of the more powerful beings that you meet in the game is another floating cat that just goes meow. Crazy, right?
Yeah,
Cats are crazy, bro.
They're floating. That's what's weird, right?
Talk about game cats, bro. Those are the real game cats.
Yeah, for real.
Who doesn't love game cats?
Anyway, I think that's going to wrap us up here because mainly I'd rather play these games than talk about them, and I think that's what time we have come to. I'm going to go play some more Ghost Runner, guys. Which I don't know. I want to finish Eolia,
I'm going to
too.
Eolia. I might go to I probably going to go to bed, but if I was gonna stay awake like you, I would probably go back to Eolia.
Finish
But
it.
then what about Into the Radius? Like, it's so good, right?
I need more time for Into the Radius. Into the Radius is gonna take you probably 20-25 hours.
Chinatown D says, "How'd that go, Wes?" Meow. It's kind of what it sounds like, right? Every
Oh,
time,
yeah.
it's like it speaks to you in like the subtitles. Like you can tell what it says, but it's just like meow, 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 meow.
I kind of had the same thing, Eric, before we get off on completely, that you were saying like about the other game with the subtitles. I don't mind reading, and I did enjoy it, but I found myself wanting to look around and check out the environment, and I'm like, well, fuck, man, I want to see what they're saying because the story was so good. You know what I mean? So that, I mean, I'm not advocating that they dub it in English because I'm not selfish.
100%. I
But
want to
it-
dub it. Dub it. Please dub it.
But you
be cool.
do end up missing some things because you're reading instead of looking around and checking things out, right?
Yeah, man. Like it's there's always this debate when you talk about anime. People who like anime, do you like subs or do you like dubs? And like the OG hardcore people are always like, give me the subs, bro. Not in VR, man. Not in VR. The subs. Not only did they get on my nerves in Ghost Runner, they got on my nerves in Eolia too. Now Eolia might have an option to turn them off. I didn't look for it.
Yeah,
But
I didn't see it. I checked the menu out pretty good. I didn't see it, but there might be.
there needs to be, right? Because the voice acting's so good. You don't
It's so
need
good.
subs in that game.
Yeah. No, they do a good job. I actually, when I was in PAX, I met another person on their team, and she made all the costumes for the original Ionia and all the she designed all the costumes and the artwork for Eolia. Man, they are so good, right? I was like, holy crap, those are. I mean, even Ionia. I mean, which again, not a game that we absolutely loved. Who didn't love the art style and the and the costumes and the get-ups and those things? And man, it was so good again in this game too. Completely different game too, by the way. I hate to jump back to that game, but completely different environments, right?
Yeah, it's a different. No, you can see on the map that it's across a mountain range and right next to Ionia. But there was like 7 or 8 different countries on that map, and that's probably what they were saying when they're talking about doing all these different games. They're probably going to do one in each one of those regions on that map.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
and he did tell me there was a little bit of an Easter egg. So the stories are not really connected. Like you can't like the people that were in Ionia are not in the second one. He did say there is a spot where you can actually walk to a cliff and you can look out, and you're actually looking over and you can see the characters from Ionia across
Well,
the
that's
water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
or
awesome.
yeah. I'll have to look out for that.
Speaking of costumes and get-ups, I have a PAX question for you. So, on the Demio feed in my Twitter last week, I saw a cool cosplay setup of the Game Master from Demio.
Yeah, man.
Did Amber wear that, or was that someone else?
It was not Amber. It was not Amber. Amber was there representing for sure, as was Civial, their community manager. But man, it was Quicksilva cosplay, and she is a kick-ass gamer chick. And man, she does so good cosplaying. She cosplayed as 2 people. She did Deb, who is the game master. And if you don't know, go look, because what Wes is talking about, she did such a good job with that. She looked just like Deb, the game
Yeah,
master
it was
from
identical.
Demio. She did Crypto, which is the little sales dude. The guy in the beginning
Oh,
who
yeah.
holds the book. Go look at some of the pictures that we have up too. So she did Crypto, and she nailed it. I mean, it's one of the best looking costumes I've ever seen. But yeah, go check her out. Quicksilva cosplay. She's got a YouTube. She's got Twitch, Facebook, and she's a VR chick, man. So how do you not love that?
That's true.
Yeah, super impressive. Super impressive. Braxbro says, "Is it time for 20 questions?" Yeah, it's the wrong show.
Wrong
If we
show.
did 20 questions on this channel, every question would start with, "You know who else?"
That is our 20 questions, right?
Every answer
Right.
would be my mom.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I guess that's going to wrap us up, folks. I want to thank all of you who showed up and showed out and hung out with us tonight. We appreciate it. And all of those who are going to be watching the replay tomorrow, we love you as well. Thank you to everyone who donated. Man, Brandon C., Guido, amazing. Thank you so much. PD, thank you for your donation. Thank you for being here, man. Like, really hope that you get well soon, and can't wait till you can get back in your headset and enjoy VR once again. Again, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, click the red button, ring the bell so that you can be notified when we go live here on Virtual Strangers, which, I think I'm doing another gameplay stream. I don't know if it'll be, well, never mind. Probably won't be me streaming. It'll be you, right, Eric?
I'll
16
stream
hours.
Saturday for sure. We'll have our show tomorrow, and then I'll stream Saturday. We're gonna get back to our normal Saturday night stream. Roots will be streaming probably on Friday, and then next week we're gonna do a 12-hour after the fall charity.
Oh, that's
stream.
next week.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was
because
this week.
September 15th drops the new DLC, which is next Thursday, and I think Friday we're gonna start at noon on Friday, and we're gonna do a celebrity content creator 12-hour live stream of After the Fall, and we got some cool people coming in. I heard that you guys might come in and join us.
Yeah, Eric made me pay $20. He said, dude, you can come in if you pay me $20. I said, dude, that's a fucking steal, bro. I'm going to be there. I'm kind of, the last time I played, I had a lot of fun and new content. So
yeah, new content. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it. We're going to have a whole bunch of people. I think we definitely have Alex and Skiva. We might have Tam 2 from Vertigo. We're hoping to get that set up, and we hope to have some of your favorite content creators in there playing. We're gonna do the charity is going to be breast cancer awareness. So we're gonna do the breast cancer foundation charity for that event.
Nice, bro. We got Roots back, man. I mean, this is going to be twice in the month, Roots playing After the Fall with us.
That's crazy. Well, I'll tell you what, it's still on my Steam. I didn't uninstall it. So
nice.
That tells you something.
12 hours. Are you going to play all 12 hours?
I don't know. I can't. I can't commit to 12 hours because I work for part of that. And you said you're starting at noon, right?
Yeah, just take the day off. I'll talk to your boss.
Oh yeah, just take the day. Well, that's okay. Like all of a sudden.
Well, here's the good thing, man. Like if we get on a good horde mode run, it takes 3 hours to get through one of those anyway.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing these content creator spots in like 2-hour spots, but that's like one run through or 1.5 run through. I don't know how we're gonna get all done, but
we will figure it out. I'm quite sure.
We will. Yep. It'll be a lot of fun.
Anyway, be sure you subscribe to Q2C. That's where Eric will be streaming that next Friday. That is linked in the description as well. Of course, if you want to do a little something extra to support us on Patreon, you'll find that link down there as well. $3 per month. That's all we ask. And you'll get insider updates. You get our weekly show notes. You get exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week. I even put up the thumbnail for today's show like early this afternoon so that the patrons knew what the games were going to be. So like cool. They've been waiting all day on this episode to kick off. But shout out to all the patrons out there. We love you, and we appreciate your support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also want to remind you there's an open invitation to our Discord server down below. That's where we hang out 24/7, 365. We're always in there talking games, talking life, hooking up for multiplayer. And again, this is something that's absolutely 100% free that you can do right now with just a couple clicks. And yeah. And we'll see you in there, hopefully. We hope to see you in there soon. Anyway, with that said, friends, I'd like to thank all of you once again for watching. For Eric and Roots, I'm Wes. We will see you very soon. Bye now.
Take it easy.
See you later.